Hello everybody, welcome back to Cannonball Cottage. Today we're going to be doing a lamb stew, a Middle Eastern lamb stew, Arabic. I've been sort of trawling the internet looking at sort of Middle Eastern recipes, and this one took my eye by the very fact that there's some fruit included in this stew. It's pretty much like, I suppose, a Moroccan tagine, which can have apricots. And this particular lamb stew, you can either use dried apricots, dates, or plums, prunes. And so I thought, well, I do have some prunes here in Cannonball Cottage, and I thought we'd give this recipe a little bit of a whirl. So it starts off with these onions. There's a very large onion to begin with, which I've already started sweating down, as you can probably see, and they've been almost pureed, and this is to give the texture of the final stew. As I said, I've had these already sweating down to speed the process up, and I've also pre-cooked the lamb also to speed up the process. I've braised that for about an hour, because generally speaking it would be tossed into the ingredients and covered and left for a couple of hours, something like that. So this is just a speeded up version. We have 4 cloves of garlic which have been finely diced. They now go in to add to these also very, very finely diced onions, as I said, almost pureed. Now the seasonings for this are really pretty basic, and the usual suspects that you have in most stews or curries. And we have black pepper, salt, smoked, no, that's chili powder, cumin. We have some smoked paprika, which is, I find a little bit unusual, and also some cardamom powder rather than the cardamom pods. And so I'm going to add that on top of this onions, because I don't want these burning away. Otherwise, especially the paprika can sometimes be a little bit bitter if you're not careful with it. I'm just going to add a little bit of liquid in here to try and stop these spices from going the wrong way. We don't want it bitter, and the moisture just helps. Also in the onion, I also put 2 green chilies and blitz that up in the processor to give this very fine texture. And you'll see, as you can see there, that it sort of creates this homogeneous, I suppose, or thicker consistency. So we'll continue on with adding some of the tomato mixture that I have here. It's also a very tomatoey stew, and in this jug here I have 1 tin of chopped tomatoes, and also 2 tablespoons of tomato puree. And as I said, it creates this very tomatoey finish, but and as you can see, it's starting to. But the essence of this, any stew or curry, it needs to sit until the meat cooks through. But as I said, in this case, we've added or pre-cooked the meat. I'm going to throw that in now, and if should it need any stock, I've got the stock from the lamb that I braised earlier. There's approximately 700 grams of lamb, diced lamb, and the diced lamb that I've used is half and half, which is half from the shoulder and half from the leg, because if you use all of leg meat, it can tend to be a little bit on the dry side and a little bit, well, depends I suppose how long you cook it for. To me, it always seems to be a little bit chewier. I prefer the shoulder of lamb. In fact, any meat, I prefer the front end of the carcass rather than the back end of the carcass, because it contains more fat and more flavour. So I'm going to keep adding this in. I'm trying to keep the temperature up on this, and of course the more liquid I get in here, and no doubt it'll start spitting away. And as you can see, there's a couple of spots on here already on this dish, and I'm now going to add these prunes, which is, for me, is something I've actually never ever done. I have used apricots before, but I've never used plums like this to add, and it obviously sweetens up the dish. And if there is any bitterness, this fruit should take out any of the bitterness to this. And again, if that's the consistency you're looking for, then stick at that and then let it simmer away. I'm actually going to continue with all of the liquid that we have, and I'm just going to put that out of the way. Just bring it up to temperature, and once you've actually prepared all your ingredients, as the French say, you know, the mise en place, cooking is very enjoyable, and you then end up with an easy meal to prepare. So there you go. Now that, in reality, should sit, and you would cover it. I'm actually going to lower the temperature down to stop it from running away and splattering. But what I'm going to do is actually give it a bit of a taste, give this sauce a taste to see if it needs anything else. Now you see, for me, that isn't spicy enough. It's nice, but I would prefer a little bit more spice to that. But generally speaking, if you have guests, that would suit most people's palate. It's just I'm peculiar in that I like the hit on the spice. I think I'm going to give it another taste and see. I also think that it needs possibly a little bit more. Well, the spice is coming through now. I'm thinking it possibly needs a little bit more cumin. I'll just go into the spice shelf where all my herbs and spices are. I'm going to put in another teaspoon of cumin. And let's see what that does to it. But yeah, so I mean, I was trawling through the internet, searching for different recipes, and I've said this one flagged up with the very fact that it uses prunes. Because I don't know if anyone else, if you're watching this, if anyone else has seen anyone use prunes before, because it's new on me. As I've said, I've seen fruits, whether it be grapes or apricots, but never dried plums, as in prunes. And we'll see how that turns out. I'm just now going to give that another taste. Now we've added that little bit more cumin, see if it gives it that earthy taste. Smells good. Oh yeah. Yes. And the spice is actually coming through a little bit more now as well, so it's actually pretty good. So now, in reality, this needs to simmer away. That would be, for instance, if the lamb wasn't already cooked, you need to let this simmer away for an hour or so that the lamb gets fully cooked. In our case, the lamb is fully cooked, and then you'll always know when it's complete, because the oil will rise to the top to give you an indication that it's ready. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to serve up a little dish, not forgetting the fruit, as in the prunes just at the top there, and serve that along with some rice. And let me just put a little bit of, you can either use parsley or coriander, and just to finish off the dish. And there you have lamb stew, or Arabic Middle Eastern stew, here in Cannonball Cottage in the afternoon. I hope you've enjoyed that little demo. Short and sweet, I know. However, that's beautiful, served with some rice, some flatbread. Absolutely wonderful. Thanks for watching, everybody. Please subscribe to our channel. Give it a thumbs up, give it a share, and make a comment. As always, cheers everyone, and thanks for watching. See you again soon. Look at it boiling away, absolutely beautiful.